Next up in the light heavyweight division, we've got Ryan Superman Spann versus Iwan the Hulk Cutelaba. Betting lines here. Cutelaba is a pretty big favorite at minus 220. Come back on Ryan Spann at plus 187. If you count Dana White's Contender Series, Spann is 6-3 in the UFC. He fought in the Contender Series twice. He lost the first time and he won the second time. He has 2 KO wins and 1 sub win. Excuse me. His losses at the UFC level, he lost by KO to Johnny Walker, lost by sub to Anthony Smith, and then on the Contender Series, he lost by stoppage due to strikes, I think it was, versus Carl Robertson. Iwan Cutelaba is 5-1 in the UFC with 3 KO wins and 2 decision wins. His losses are 2 by sub, 2 by KO, and 1 decision. This is kind of interesting. Spann has only had 15 takedowns attempted against him in 9 fights, so not very many takedowns being attempted against him. Cutelaba, this is a pretty impressive stat. Cutelaba attempts 4.3 takedowns per 15 minutes and gets 2.4. But here's the crazy thing about that stat. He had a lot of fights where he didn't really look to wrestle. In his last 2 fights, he has landed a total of 17 total takedowns in his last 2 fights. I think he got 9 in one and 8 in the other. So he's clearly either he's looking to focus on his wrestling more, or he simply felt that wrestling was his best path to victory in those 2 fights. I don't know why he wrestled that much, but he landed 17 takedowns total in his last 2 fights. So, if we can consider that a trend, he's probably going to look to wrestle here. One thing to bear in mind in this fight is there is a huge size discrepancy. Ryan Spann is a big dude. He's going to have 4 inches of height and 6.5 inches of reach. And if Michael Bisping can be believed, when I was doing tape on one of Spann's fights, I forget which one, but Michael Bisping said on the commentary that Spann apparently cuts down from 235 on fight week. Don't know if that's true or not. That's what Bisping said. So but Ryan Spann, he's a big guy. He's going to be a lot bigger than Cutelaba here. That said, Iwan Cutelaba is the Hulk. The guy's crazy. The guy's a maniac. I don't think he cares how big you are. Spann has a huge size advantage here, but I don't know how much it's going to make a difference against a guy like Cutelaba because he's not really a guy you're going to out physical. I mean, he's the Hulk for a reason, even if he's a little smaller, I think that he's going to be able to keep up physically with just about anybody. So those 17 takedowns. So yeah, Cutelaba got 8 takedowns against Devin Clark, and Devin Clark is a wrestler. I mean, that's what he's known for. He's a better offensive wrestler than defensive wrestler, clearly, but yeah, he was able to get 8 takedowns against a fellow wrestler in Devin Clark, and he got 9 takedowns against Dustin Jacoby. Jacoby's a kickboxer, but even so. So my point being, Cutelaba's in wrestling mode, and we'll probably see more of that here. One mistake that I've made in my capping lately is not weighing wrestling heavily enough. That's why I was talking about with Nick Maximov when he got that trifecta. I need to make sure I'm weighing that heavily enough in my capping. So I was looking at the lines here and I'm like, I don't know if Cutelaba should be such a big favorite and whatever, but if I'm allowing myself to weigh wrestling heavily enough in my mind, then yeah, Cutelaba probably should be that big of a favorite. And Ryan Spann can wrestle. It's not like he's a fish out of water with wrestling. But like I said, a lot of times it does come down to the tenacity and the cardio and the desire. Like, are you gonna push the wrestling? Are you gonna try to wrestle? And Cutelaba has shown us in his last 2 fights that he probably will. And if he's going to, even though Ryan Spann can wrestle, Ryan Spann can defend takedowns. If you're gonna work tenaciously for those takedowns, if you're gonna be takedown minded, and you're like, you know what, he stuffed this one, I'm gonna try again, or I'm gonna chain my attempts together. Usually you're going to eventually get that takedown. So I feel like that's how Cutelaba is probably going to approach this fight. Let's see. Cutelaba does tend to get finished in losses, and Ryan Spann has found finishes in a bunch of his wins. So if you're interested in betting the dog here, I would probably take the extra juice on Spann inside the distance, because I feel like if Spann's going to win, it's probably going to be a stoppage. But yeah, that's, if I was gonna pick a best bet, that might be it, because with the money line the way it is, I do think Cutelaba is the rightful favorite here. But with him at like minus 220, I wouldn't bet that straight up. Would I put it in a parlay? Maybe, but it's not like Spann doesn't have a path to victory here, so I would maybe just stay away from it. But if you're looking for a fun prop sprinkle, maybe that Ryan Spann inside the distance at plus 300. But this should be a fun fight. Just 2 big physical guys who are going to get in there and get after it. I'm excited to see how this one plays out.